My name is Tino Trevor. I was born and raised in Zimbabwe, a small country in the south of Africa. I'm presently living in Brazil, where I teach English. It's all about anticipation for me. Meeting up with friends after work, knowing that I don't have to get up early the next day, preparing for the weekend in general, and spending time with family. So I'd have to say Friday is my favorite day of the week. Donuts, without a doubt, are my guilty pleasure, and I'm not talking about the fancy schmancy ones with the sprinkles, chocolate, jam, and all that jazz. I'm talking about the classic iced donut. I can easily polish off a dozen of them in one sitting. Teleportation. If I could have a superpower, it would definitely be teleportation. I love to travel, so the thought of being able to go anywhere instantly, not to mention for free, that really excites me. Let's see, well, what would I do with $1 million? I'd quit my day job, that's for sure, and travel the world for at least a year with my family, and then turn my attention to my business. I'd like to do something involving education, especially in developing nations. Barack Obama. I would love to speak to Barack Obama. I'd like to pick his brain and hear the unfiltered version of what it was like to hold the world's most powerful office for 8 years. Globalization is real, and English is the most widely spoken language around the world. Over 2 billion people speak it. Whether it's for work, leisure, or study, you will most likely need English for one reason or another in the future. I myself can thank English for allowing me to live on 4 different continents, travel to 30 countries, and for my career, which includes teaching English, working for the Olympic Games, and working for several different multinational companies. Suzy and serendipity are 2 of my favorite words in the English language. There's no profound reason why, beyond, I just love the way they sound. Oh look, 50 cents. Cool and yup. There's a reason they're so prolific in the English language. As slang, they're simple, succinct, and useful. I kind of stumbled into teaching after moving to Brazil. I never really sought it out. I was just helping a few friends here and there, and before I knew it, I had a few private students. I was taking a teacher training course, and here I am today. However, I would not give it up for the world. I've fallen in love with it, and it's a very rewarding profession. The best thing about teaching is learning and sharing knowledge. I learn a lot when I teach my students. I also learn a lot when I research topics to teach. Knowledge is power, and sharing knowledge is empowering. I find teaching quite rewarding. Be prepared. It is hard, often thankless work, but it is satisfying and rewarding. For shy people, the best advice I can give you is engage, engage, and engage. Try new things, even if they make you uncomfortable. There is no reward without risk. Practice, practice, and practice. Can you tell I like the number 3? All jokes aside though, practice, practice, and practice. It's the only way to improve your speaking. Have you ever heard of a tennis champion who became great by watching tennis, listening to tennis, and reading the rules? Of course not. They put in the work. They practiced, practiced, and practiced, and that is how they improved and eventually became great. If you want to improve your vocabulary, read. Read everything you can get your hands on. Captions, magazines, newspapers, books, comments on YouTube. Just read. Read and write, then read and write some more. Look at writers you like. Analyze their style, see what it is you like about their writing. Then try to emulate it. Eventually, you will develop your own style with your likes and preferences injected into it. You will get better by continuously writing. Everyone, and I mean everyone, has an accent. It's part of who you are. It reflects where you were born and raised. It also includes your rhythm and intonation. There is no need to change your accent. In my opinion, there is no such thing as a wrong accent. However, there is such a thing as wrong pronunciation, and many language learners mix up the two. You need to improve your pronunciation. If your pronunciation is spot on, you will not have any problems communicating. However, as time progresses, as elements of your target language creep in, your accent may change naturally. Great question. I believe that many students want to have an American or a British accent predominantly due to marketing by institutes that teach English. Speak like an American, speak like a Brit, lose your accent. These are taglines we hear sadly all too often. Students need to focus on speaking well. If you speak well, no one will care that you don't sound like an American or a Brit. People will care that you have the ability to speak and communicate clearly and effectively. On the contrary, many people find accents quite endearing. I've learned that I'm much more of a creative than I thought I was. I enjoy the filming and editing process and try to teach in a way that few other teachers do. That's easy. I've always wanted to make a video about what the life in the day of a teacher looks like. However, the time to do this continues to elude me. People see me on social media and assume I'm outgoing. On the contrary, I'm quite an introvert. I have to force myself to engage. See, I practice what I preach. Teacher Will is a sage. That beard of his is not only a fashion statement, but a sign of wisdom as well. He is as selfless as he is passionate about his craft. If you didn't know this, my very first Instagram Live was with Teacher Will. I was a relative newbie to Instagram with less than 1,000 followers, and he reached out to me, said he liked my content, and invited me to be on a live with him. Not only did this blow my mind, but it touched my heart. So much so that I always try to pay this kindness forward whenever I come across new teachers. Thank you, Teacher Will. To me, insight is the ability to see, read, or hear something and immediately understand it, but also realize there's so much more to it. After all, learning is a journey, one without an end. No matter how much you know, there's always something more to learn. As you can see behind me, it says Aspire and Learn. Aspiration is the starting point to most things. You aspire to be like your mother or your father. You aspire to learn a new language. You aspire to get a great job. You aspire to travel. You aspire, and then you take the necessary steps and you learn how to turn your aspirations into reality. So Aspire English language learners, aspire and learn. But as you learn, don't forget to share, because sharing is caring, and we all learn together. Thank you as well, Teacher Will, for having me as your guest. It was an honor.
Teacher Tino for participating in Insight.